Right, guys, the moment you've been waiting for. I have seen all your questions, and thank you so much for coming through and just for being a part of this interview. I am so super excited to be hanging out with the bingo. What's up, Mr. Zeb?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Gosh, this has been a long time coming. Finally, kind of happened.
Yeah.
Because the last time we spoke about it was, I think, when we started the radio station, really. And yeah, the schedules were kind of, you know, especially with you guys, you're always traveling,
Hmm.
right? But then
Yeah.
we're so good to
Yes.
you. Also, you've just ventured into
Definitely
music and
fun.
all that. Just I'm like, nah. This time around, we gotta have Mr. Tsikira with us. Thank you so much for being a part of Tough Love Giggles Up. Powered to you by After Five Radio.
No problem.
No, that is so awesome. So, welcome, sir. I have no idea kutindeta soma with you or because I can know you personally. So I'm like, I guess I'm at work. I gotta do that, right? So, do you mind actually
Yes.
just bringing our listeners, just for starters, bring our listeners up to speed with your upbringing, a little bit about your background. Who is Zeb Tsikira? Why do we have a Zeb today?
Yeah. So Zeb Tsikira is a millionaire, an author, a serial entrepreneur, and now I have dived into some music, doing some music as well. I was born in Bulawayo in 1983, and I grew up in the ghetto. That's why I have a soft spot for the ghetto youths, and that's why I'm doing music with them and stuff like that. And I moved to Canada in 2001. And then, in 10 years, I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I was just all over the place.
Mhm.
And then in 2010, that's when I sort of like had a vision of what I wanted to do, which was to get into property investing, real estate investing. And I was in university at the time. So I decided to drop out of university and pursue that. And fast forward 10 years later, here I am with, properties in the US, properties in Canada, and now going on a venture to Zim as well.
That is awesome. That's a lot. Because usually I get my questions from your responses and stuff like that. Although today the fun bit of today's interview is we got actually questions from we have a plethora of listeners right now who are
Mhm.
so motivated by what you do. But from your response that you mentioned, Kutuswani, oh yeah, you're born and raised in Bulawayo, so that means we are Kudumas, yes, ananas,
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah,
okay.
of course, Nyakuduma, yeah, yeah,
Right? Because
yeah.
I am all about inclusion. I think you know that, and I am bilingual as well. So that's
Hmm.
so amazing. So with that being said, when you mentioned Kudujani, you went to uni. Did you study property management, or what is it that you studied? Because I know a whole lot of people go to uni for one thing and they end up doing the opposite of what they studied, or something totally off. So do you mind breaking that down for us?
Yes. So yeah, so when I went to uni, I went to uni to do a major in psychology and a minor in economics. And I only did it for a year before I actually just saw that it wasn't for me. And at the same time, I had just gotten a statement from the government that I was owing $15,000. So it really scared me for my first year. so so that's when I decided to kind of like look for what had made a lot of millionaires around the world,
Okay.
and what had made people to be financially free,
Mhm.
because I was looking at my future and saying, what, for psychology, I had to get to the PhD level for me to actually, be in good competition of getting a job. So I was going to really owe a lot of money. So I decided to look for something else that was different. And when I saw real estate or property investing, I then decided, what, I wasn't making money. I was in school. I had to go and start making money so that I can get into my first property. And then from there, the cash flow from there, and me working, two, three, four jobs, I would do it over and over and over again. So that was the vision.
Oh, dear. Yay! I'm the particular ones the secrets to success, the secret to success that you figured out to say, Is this the moment that I can actually literally say you dropped out of uni, just like just like the Mark Zuckerbergs, the what's his name, the Microsoft guy, like and you're thinking,
Yeah,
okay,
Gates.
yes, Bill Gates. Second is the secret to success dropping out of school. Like, dude, help me understand because most of these millionaires they drop out. Look at what's his name too. The Virgin guys. What's his name?
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, dude, help me understand. Help me understand. I totally understand the whole part here, which is a whole lot of people do not like owing money to the government. But then there's some people like, oh yeah, it's good to invest in your future. But then when are you going to start working on your future before after paying off? Because obviously this has deadlines if you do not want to pay interest, right? Which is a fact.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So then why?
Yes, dropping out of school is not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for for people that are weak, to be honest. Because there's two choices. It's either you make it or you don't. And if you don't make it, it's like a garden boy, a house girl. You know what I mean? You'll be the bottom of the bottom. That's where for me, that's where I sort of like had to make a decision. Right, because from where I come from, those I told I used to have a teacher of mine, high school, teacher maths. Angota, fana murimakudu evani muchareta ma garden boy edu. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So you have two choices. It's either you make it or you don't. And for me, when I decided to drop out of school, it was a moment where it was like a make or break moment for me.
Yeah.
It was either I was going to be a loser or I was going to be a success. And I was okay with it. With whatever it was going to come with, I was okay with whatever it was that was going to happen.
But when you choose to jump like that, I don't think with a journey you're headed for failure, to be honest. Like I've seen a whole lot of jumpers. I've seen, and not what I'm saying, but if people have to like quit school or let go of the core values of the future, but you know what you've been built to do and you never fail. I've never seen Monagati, I've jumped in and failed, to be honest, right? And you as a Zimbabwean, you've proven, you know what, regardless, even look at Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey was told, do you have anybody who's been on television? Like, who the hell do you think you are to think that you're going to be on television? And with you, garden boy, like, really, who has the right to be giving that title to somebody else? Obviously,
yeah. And for me, actually, my teachers, I think the biggest for me, Shungu Zagava, actually from my family, if your own mother does not believe in you, your own mother looks at you and say, I would know for you. Business is. You know what I mean? So for me, the biggest, challenge was coming from my family. How can you do that? Because we don't see you doing it, right? Anybody else can say whatever they want to say, but it really hits, home when someone at home doesn't believe in you. So it was an uphill battle.
I am glad we're talking about this right now and I am glad I have taken this interview because guess what? We're on the same boat. You already know what I do. But guess what? You are so right. You are so right. The rest of the world can say what they want. I do not care. I do not care. And it's difficult to also when the other people would know what is that, and I'll tell you, but you know what? Don't worry, your family will catch up. It's easy for me to say that. But then because you value family above all else. That's exactly what I'm getting from you right now, right? Because that's exactly how I feel right now. And you know what? Do you mind literally helping me and everybody else who's in the same situation? Then how do you overcome such a huddle? Family is thinking really, Zeb, what do you think? Like, where do you think that's going to take you? How did you overcome that hurdle? Because you have actually overcome it, and now you're a self-made millionaire, multi-entrepreneur who's actually doing the most and have inspired a whole lot of people actually tuned in right now. This is the first interview that I've actually not interviewed myself. I'm getting, questions for you because that's how much impact you have put on my Zimbabweans all over the world, not just in the diaspora, but all over the world. So how did you overcome that hurdle for you to say, you know what, I'm just going to go regardless? Because family's opinion is really important. And I totally get that. How did you overcome that?
Yeah. So for me, it was, I actually wrote a book, which I hope it comes out this year, where the book is called All or Nothing, the Zeb Tsikira story. And, for me, it was an all or nothing moment. There was a time, we moved to Canada in 2001, in 2001, Montreal. And then we had to go to French school, me and my brother, so that we can sort of like, adapt to the environment and show that, we are, learning French so that we can increase our chances of getting our papers here in Canada. So I think the same year I got a job. It's like 2002, I got a job at McDonald's. That's when I started working there. I worked there for like 3-4 months. And then my parents said that, you know what, we need to move from Montreal and go to an English-speaking province. All right. So for me, you can imagine I'm in a new environment. I'm learning French and I got a job. I'd never had a job in Zimbabwe. I really value all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, that dream is being, my parents wanted to take that dream away from me. So guess what? I had to quit my job and I had to go with them to Ontario. And on my way to Ontario in the bus, I kept on asking myself a question. And that question was, if I fail in life, am I going to blame it on my parents or am I going to blame it on myself? Right. And that question kept on going over and over and over again. By the time I got to Ontario, I had a different mindset. And the mindset was the fault was going to be mine. I had to make a decision for my life. And basically what I did was, and people don't know this, most people don't know this, but what I did was I actually ran away from home and went back to Montreal so that I can start my own life. And if I fail, it's me. And if I succeed, it's me. I had to make a choice from then. So in 2002, I made a choice of taking all the decisions and making them for myself. And, my parents didn't talk to me for like a year. And then we started talking again. I had to help them to come back to Montreal at some point. So I've always been, someone who makes a decision and then sticks by it and works so hard to get to where I wanted to go.
Okay. Right. And is there is it a guy friend? Or I don't know. Because as a woman you have this whole, I guess they're right. Sometimes you end up saying, yeah, I guess they're right. But then in your hearts of hearts, I totally love the fact that you decided, but you know what? If I fail, it's on me, and if I win, it's on me. So at what age were you when, you were making these decisions? Because it's so funny, just yesterday I was talking to my cousin and, she has loved acting for the longest time in her life. And, she's like, oh man, I'm so proud of what you're doing. That's my industry and stuff like that. So I was like, but you can still do it. You can get back into it. So like, I'm too old. She's younger than me. So that on its own, it was for me to think, why would you be saying that? Because you're never too old for your passion. You're never too old for what you're being called to do. So just to encourage somebody like my cousin out there, but you know what? Age ain't nothing but a number. How old were you when you decided that? And if you don't mind letting us know how old you are right now, it doesn't matter whether you're 25 or you're 35 or you're 45, life needs to keep moving according to how you feel it's supposed to move.
Yeah, I think I was 20. I was 20 at the time when I made that decision. And then At 20, I spent, I think, 8 years. I was doing well in the standards of, living by myself, but I was lost in terms of like, I did not understand exactly the real vision where I was supposed to be going. Financial literacy lacked a lot because I never had someone who actually sat down with me and said, look, dude, this is Canada. This is how money works in Canada. Stop spending money on buying, cars and putting rims on the cars and TVs and to impress girls and, buying, jewelry and chains and all that stuff, right? So I went through that period for like 10 years, I think 7 years, 7 or 8 years of doing that until university. My first year of university, when I finished that, and I looked at what it made millionaires, it all made sense at that point. Like, millionaires don't do that, so I had to change because I'd found new information.
Question. Now that you mentioned that kind of sounds a little bit contradicting if listeners are listening, because now, people will be like, but how can you say that yet? Right now, we know you're, everybody knows that, but you have a Maserati, you travel all over the world, you have, I think it's a Range Rover as well, you have this house, and everybody sees that on social media. So how is it different from like the way you're thinking now versus how you thought then by saying millionaires don't live like that?
Okay, so the difference, what I understand was millionaires do not buy cars, they do not buy these houses, they do not buy all these expensive things using their working income, right? They don't use their 9 to 5, right, to buy these things, right? They use their passive income, money that they make from their assets, right? If you want to buy a car, you go and buy a house that brings in money, right? You use that cash flow from that house to then buy yourself a car. Why do they do that? Because when you got a 9 to 5, when you lose the 9 to 5, guess what happens? You won't be able to make payments for your car. You won't be able to keep and maintaining the car, right? But as long as you own the asset, that asset will continuously spit money for you. That's what I understood, and that changed my mind.
Guys, I'm wow, that's amazing because not a lot of people have thought that way, and it's amazing that you thought of it that way. So, with that being said, is it from any book that you read that you can recommend to other people to say, you know what, people can read this book? Because how did you get to learn that information?
So it was the first time was when I sort of like, when I did the research on what had made a lot of millionaires around the world, and all about, what is financial freedom? Because a lot of people talk about financial freedom, but what exactly is it? People don't know the meaning of what financial freedom is. And financial freedom is when you replace your working income with your passive income, money that you make without having to work, right? You invest in assets, those assets spit money, and that money should should be more than what you make from your job. At that point, you're financially free, right? So for me, I learned that on Google. I went on Google and I went on YouTube and I started watching Robert Kiyosaki's stuff there. And then the most, what changed my life was the game called The Cash Flow Game by Robert Kiyosaki. And I played.
Is it Rich Dad Poor Dad that you read?
Yes. Rich Dad Poor Dad. He's got a game called The Cash Flow. Basically, for you to win, you have to make. You need to replace your working income by investing in assets. That could be buying properties, buying stocks and stuff like that. But for me, what resonated with me the most was the property side. Because in property, oh my goodness, that's generational wealth. Like, as long as you own property, most of the millionaires, even billionaires, most of their portfolios is properties, right? Properties, they go up in value over time. And here in the diaspora, where you get mortgages, guess who's paying for those mortgages for those 25 years? It's your tenant, right? As long as you have your tenant in there, your tenant is paying for your mortgage until it's fully paid. And by the time the house is fully paid, that's like probably it's worth 4 to 5 times more than what it was when you bought it, right? So you can imagine how much money that's where the net worth comes from. People don't know what a net worth is. How do you calculate net worth? There's no way you can save your way to wealth, the name of the book that we have. Like, there's no way you can put money in the bank and be a millionaire in 25 years. No way.
Interesting. That's really, to be honest, because you have to sacrifice some things too. Because I know whenever anyone will actually say, or Amanda, you can buy a house and then you can share with somebody so they can pay part of your mortgage and stuff like that. And you think, hey, my guy, I love my space.
Got a moon.
Like, I've been alone with this long, so I love my space. What are you talking about? But then it has to make sense. You have to sacrifice some things, because guess what? You need to see the future. You need to look at the future, not the now, right? And it's actually a good thing that you actually mentioned that beat. This is the moment that we get into, dude, how does it feel now? After making all those decisions, after making, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. If I fail, it's on me. If I win, it's on me. And we know you've won, right? A lot of people know you've won. A lot of people are listening right now. A lot of people sent through their questions. And one of them is, Ante, how does it feel now being where you are financially? In Zimbabwe, you would famously be known as Mbinga. The Bengaldos, it's not going to remember social media. She goes, hey, I'm Bengaldo. So how does it feel now to be financially free? You made it, and how long did it take you to get there? You made a decision when you were 20. So how long was that period? Because we now live in a world where a lot of people want instant gratification. A lot of people want a microwave life. Hit it.
Yeah, it took a while, as I said, right? From the time I started living by myself, I indulged a lot of interesting things, like what I call them now liabilities. I indulged in buying things that never brought money to my pocket. My pocket was always leaking money, for 7 years or so. But at the 10-year mark in Canada, that's when I had that epiphany where I had to actually go on Google and do all that stuff. But from there now, once I had changed my mind, guys, when I tell people sometimes, they don't believe this. Like, I sold, I had a vehicle at the time, I had a car, I had a PlayStation, Zimbabwean boys and stuff like that. I sold all those things. And I bought myself a plane ticket to go up north, Canada, Yellowknife. It's very cold there. And the reason why I did that because people up there, they got paid more than people south. And what I understood by that was sometimes, when that saying that says an arrow has to go back for it to shoot forward, I had to lose everything and start from zero, nothing. So I had to move up there with a bag, and I didn't even have rent money. I had to convince my landlord to give me a room to stay until, I get my job, get paid, and then I'll pay him rent. And, he was so intrigued, and he set me down. He said, dude, why are you here? And I told him, I'm going to buy property. I'm going to be a property millionaire. He looked at me, was like, he couldn't get it. Like, this young kid, he has no rent money, and he's telling me like, oh, he's going to buy one house and blah, blah, blah. And he's going to buy another one and another one. It doesn't make any sense. And this guy today, he's like my mouthpiece, man. He talks to all the young people and everybody. He saw me when I was a nobody.
What's funny though, the good thing is word of mouth is the easiest. Because guess what? Yeah. I've experienced this, so you better experience that. And people are convinced by that more than just reading, and stuff like that. And that's amazing and phenomenal. So please do tell us, how does it feel now? How does it feel to be financially free? People be thinking, because she cloud. I'm telling you, right? And we're gonna get into that question. Why am I saying it in that way? People she cloud. But with that being said,
Yes.
how does it feel now to be financially free?
Uh,
And
it,
after
fe-
that
it
journey.
it feels good to be financially free.
Mhm.
It feels good to be in charge of your finances and actually, uh, knowing that you are really preparing a good, solid foundation for the next generation. Because some of us didn't have that solid foundation. Your parents or your grandparents left you 1 million or left you kind of 100,000, right? And for me, I'm so glad that I got into the path of buying my properties, because I am going to be able to say, for example, when my son is going to university, I will be able to buy a house for him kuti anogara kuuniversity, and rent out my rooms at university, as a landlord for my friends ake. That's what I want to do. That's the empowerment that I want to do for my kids, and hopefully they can do the same for their kids. And right now I'm enjoying because I have the power to empower a lot of people with the knowledge that I have, with the currency that I have, not money, but with the currency that's in my head. And my ghetto youths through music. I love music. And, I always wish that one day maybe I will be an artist or what. But, I'm at a position now that I'm able to get there. But I'm sponsoring my artists, my songs and all that stuff. And I'm enjoying it.
Right, and exactly the one of the questions that we got from one of our presenters. Definitely, we're gonna come back into that because you've said some things that actually align with some of the questions that we have. Funny enough, so I'm just going to let our listeners know. Could you dudes, people, people? This guy, Jesus accomplished. He may not have become an artist, but he is actually producing and helping our Maghetto youths back home to produce their music and supporting them. And for those who are actually just shooting into After Five Radio, thank you so much for tuning into After Five Radio. We're actually hanging out with the amazing, phenomenal, multimillionaire, self-made multimillionaire serial entrepreneur, Mr. Zeb Tsikira. And right about now, we're going to be playing you one of his songs that was produced, supported by him, from the various artists who are actually based in Zimbabwe. And I played you before those were tuned in earlier on. I played you a song called Millionaire that was actually sung by Bazooka, which was literally under Zeb Tsikira's support productions, everything. We're going to get into that afterwards. But please do enjoy this one by Blood entitled Zeta. So we'll be right back after this song. Enjoy. You're gonna be in the future right here or maybe now. And this is a Zeta by Blood. It is actually a Zeb Tsikira production and himself, Mr. Zeb Tsikira, as we get to know his journey to becoming financially free. This is actually tuned in and literally says this. Tonight I am enjoying. Shout out to please do send through your feedback. Let us know if you still have questions. Yes, we still have a couple of questions that were put in by people earlier on. But if you still have questions, maybe we may have missed some of the questions that we want to know from Mr. Tsikira. Please feel free to come through with your questions. So just moving along from our discussion that we had before we took our short break, this is the music. Music. I have a plethora of questions, Mr. Zeb.
Yeah.
Nobody just running from it. I'm like, I am gonna be chilling with the other guy. I know a little bit more like Amanda, you're just being a comic. But you know what? We're actually inspired. We're inspired a lot by what you're doing, to be honest. I know what we get to a point here with sometimes say, am I going the right way? And sometimes we end up fearing success. And to share with you, how do we move from there? When you saw yourself succeeding, another question from our listeners. And when you saw yourself succeeding or headed up the ladder, how did you handle that? Because fear of success is real too, right? Don't forget your family was telling you that, oh yeah, you can't, why? Who do you think you are? You know what I mean? Like business, really. And then now you're up the ladder. Was there a moment that you kind of felt, am I gonna really make it? Or you just said, you know what, I'm good.
It was just, for me, it was always moving. And one of the most important things that I did was to basically marry someone who supports my dreams and also a hard worker. So that's been an amazing combo, to be honest. Like, because sometimes we're humans, you don't feel like working. You know what I mean? You sort of like slack on what you're supposed to do, and if you have someone behind you who's like, "Yo, you said your dream is to build this. Like, how are you going to build that when you're sleeping, when you're not doing this, when you're not doing that, right?" And vice versa as well, right? So if you have a chance to actually have a partner, that's amazing. It's an amazing thing, a great partner who can support your dreams and you can support their dreams as well. But if you're alone, if you don't have a partner, then you got to build a network, right? You got to build a network of supportive people that can help you and push your dreams to come true.
Which is difficult nowadays.
You can say it's difficult because you can say it's difficult in a way that information is currency. Remember when I said that information is currency, right? If you need to reach your goals nowadays, there's a lot of mentoring around, a lot of people that mentor, right? Street smarts, like you don't learn what I'm doing in school. Like there's no way you can learn what I'm doing in school, right? You got to learn from people, the OG who have done it so well in the street, right? And for you to learn from those OGs, you got to pay because they're sharing their information, right? And you're paying a lot of money. We paid 20,000 Canadian dollars to get the information that propelled us from 3 properties to over 100, right? That currency, the person currency was inflation, right? And we paid for that. So when you say it's difficult, I say it is difficult in a sense that most people, especially people from, Black people, they do not want to pay for information outside of school, right? If it's not a school degree, if it's not a college diploma or what, they do not want to pay because they are programmed to believe that everything they need is in school, but the answer is no, right? So that's the reason why a lot of people do not succeed, because they don't want to pay for mentorship. I'm telling you, like, I've seen people that are very hard workers, and they're really inspired to do more and to be successful. But the issue comes when you say you gotta pay for mentorship. They look at that and be like, what? No way, I'm not gonna pay for it. And guess what? They never go higher than where they are. So mentorship is one of the most important things. And I always talk about that in terms of, like, sometimes it's not even the currency of you giving a mentor money, it's what you have to offer, right? Can you be a runner? Especially these people in Zimbabwe. I always say, like, can you be a runner for a, right? So that you can get to learn for free. Sometimes he'll pay you if he does pay you, but sometimes being a runner, autombo badaru. But what you're doing is you're putting currency in your brain, currency, the networks you're meeting, the people that you're going to connect with, like all these places that you're going. Once you decide to open your business with all these people that you've created around you, it's money.
Which is so amazing and so legit, because like you said, as Black people, we have this whole thing, we cannot let go of our friends. It's difficult because we have this whole thing. But guess what? It brings us to one of our questions more. Where hands already? Because we have an influx of people actually today. What you did, I'm even surprised with some of the people what you did today. for this interview, right? And this question is one question that quite a number of people have been asking, right? You're going to say, okay, with that being said, why is it you're always saying haters are gonna hate? Because yes, we're talking about friends having to be, having to let go of friends, having to let go of because sometimes they're not meant to be a part of your journey. They're not meant to be a part of your journey. Maybe they don't even understand your journey, right? And so this question, from my understanding, it says good answer. Why is it you always say haters are gonna hate on some of your posts that you put on social media, yet you already motivate a lot of people? You're even like on one of your songs, you're going to, millionaire, just like Zeb Tsikira. If you see people singing, that is because they look up to your work. They look up to what you're doing. So what does that statement mean? Haters are going to hate, yet you've already inspired so many people to work hard and they look up to you and see you as an icon of success.
Yes. So for me, I'm a real person. I love to be real with people. And I always want to remind, people who are on the grind, Kuti, there's always going to be haters. Perfect. We can't turn a blind eye and say, everything's all good or what, whatever. And because a lot of people actually, they actually fall from success because they never thought, people start saying things and then they just actually stop focusing on where they're supposed to go and start focusing on the haters. So for me, it's coming out and saying, haters are going to hate, right? But keep on making money. You know what I mean? It's to encourage, Guti. It's life. My haters are equal. Don't act as if they are not there. But iwewe concentrate on making money, on reaching where you want to go.
Right. Which is, guys, Omega, because honestly, that's a fact. And I think we have this syndrome we need people to love us. We need this approval from people. Help me understand validation from people, approval from people. Come on, guy. Guess what? Because guess what? It's putting me on the map.
Exactly. Yeah.
Look at what's her name. Look at Olinda. Olinda's got her own strategy of putting herself on the map. Look at Zeb. Zeb has his own strategy of putting himself on the map. Guess what? Not everybody's gonna like it. And that's a fact, like you're saying. You just need to keep focusing. But then, you over to another profound statement earlier on, what you're saying, but when you decide to let go of some things, giving up on things like education, it's not supposed to be for the faint-hearted. Because guess what? That you might miss in uni, but you have to learn along the way, right? And you're gonna meet, these years, my haters, they're gonna be there. But then how are you gonna tackle that in a very humble way? Because at the end of the day, too, you're not supposed to respond to negative connotations, right?
So exactly right. It's how you respond to that. A lot. Some people, they actually really get it. Like vanotopindwa muskini kutoti vakutotsamwa zviya zvekutotsamwa. But this is what I told one of my guys that I mentor. I said, someone can come per social media, Zeb Tsikira ana mari, right? But guess what?
That's why people
say. But chinzwaga. But Zeb Tsikira anoenda kunodriva Maserati yake, oisa mugarage make, onodya sadza rake, oenda mubedroom make, ozoonera TV. Mari inonga ichingopinda. So that's what people have to think, the mentality kuti. People can, and some of these people vanototuka vachoka anotogara mukahati haana kana kaselfoni kake ndekarini. I'm telling you, hatorina nemari yedata. Saka people have to really understand kuti when people put negative comments and stuff like that, unotofana kutoseka chakuti vakomana, and keep on doing what you're doing. I'm telling you, before you know it, you'll be so successful. You would wonder, and let me even give you another scenario as well that happened in my life. And people that were close to me who used to tell me, dude, why are you getting into real estate? real estate haitomboiti. No way. Kunoita ma anzi kunoita ma anonziko what is this? Where the economy goes down, chichi, kunogona kuita imba yako kunogona kutsva, you lose your house, chichi, and stuff like that. And I did real estate for 3 years, became financially free in year 3. And at that point, I went for an extra 2 years in real estate. That's when I started buying my apartment buildings. And at that point, the same people today are doing real estate. The same people today are now into property. They're asking me how I did it. Right? Saga,
I like that.
you just continue.
I like that. And I hope everybody is listening to this advice, because you know what? This is actually something that I think we all need, especially as Africans, especially as Zimbabweans, because we're actually a bunch, sadly, that do not support each other. Period. Because the reason why I have tough love, because we say it like it is, you know. You know what? I know we kind of hide, you know, with the whole, oh yeah, let's support each other, but are we really supporting each other? You know, kind of when I'm up there as their booty, who the hell does it think is? You actually met what is running, you know, as a banana, you know, because a lot of people will be like, I'm a Maria now, you know, you choose to show us what you want to show us.
Exactly.
You choose it.
Mm-hmm. But Amanda, but Amanda, Amanda, zvigaitwa nemurungu bo.
I want to be like them. I want to. Why are we like the Maria? Because of the man. That's it. My guy. But you know what? It's also, we're so proud of what you're doing. And another question that we should have asked the moment that you said it, but we kind of, you know, my question that I don't one day, but we have 15 minutes to go. Answer another one. Some people would say, here's another funny one. Although I think from our discussion, people have already gathered it's a dream that you actually had way before, you know, when you were younger and stuff like that. Although some people say you'd have never. And they want my haters, I imagine. And you would have never made it without your wife. Shout out to Miss Colin Tsikira. I love her so much.
I mean, at the end of the day, we started this all together.
Absolutely.
We started together. We had nothing, absolutely nothing. When I tell you, like, we had nothing, Taito Garani 5, Tichito Roja, and stuff like that. So, who's saying that? That's true.
Yeah.
Someone can say vice versa as well. My wife could not be where she is without me. So it works both ways.
And totally, you know, love your the power, because you know, like you said, you guys are so into the same thing. You know, and I think another profound statement that you mentioned with it, if you don't have a partner that's it doesn't make sense, right? Because guess what? It's easy for you to even support theirs. And it's a combination of two dreams being chased by two people. But guess what? And you know, that's something that is so profound. And you know, I admire that, to be honest. Good for you, and look at you now, you know. And then so there's another thing. I think another question. Please ask this one of our presenters. Please can you ask why are entrepreneurs, especially foreign-based, diaspora, even Zeb Tsikira, I'm going to get here because they can go to on behalf.
Yeah.
So please, can you ask why entrepreneurs, especially foreign-based, are investing in the music industry? What's the catch? There's Passion Java doing that. Zeb Tsikira is now doing that. What's the catch?
So, what people don't understand is when you are on the ground, when you are actually looking at these, you know, artists and stuff like that, an artist, how can an artist be in the game as a celebrity in Zimbabwe and Anaimba? How is that possible? Ana imba ari kuroja, ari kugara kumbare or whatever that is, right? Ghetto youths. How? Right? Because there's no support. Hakuna support. And we are coming, or I am coming and saying, you know what, I need to support these guys because I know where I come from. I come from the same type of woods that these guys are living in. So I'm here to say, you know what, I need to empower these guys kuti understand kuti financial literacy teach the asset, teach the liability, right? Because most of these guys gavangoita mari vakaenda kumashows kunana UK kunana chi vanodzoka vachitenga motikari. Vanodzoka vachitenga motikari Benz. Muri kuona? Benz yacho havagoni kuimaintain. Uri kuona? Pane kuti vatenge asset, vatenge kastand kana kuti vatenge imba, vaise maroja. You see? Apana vanhu vari kueducate maghetto youths kuti they have to do that. So with the empowerment that, you know, I am giving them, badarira ma studio time, badarira ma videos, some of the videos I'm putting them on MTV channel or Nana Trace, so that they can be empowered. When that fame comes, now they need to understand how they can make money off that fame. Because if it wasn't for me, for example, they wouldn't not have that fame internationally, kunze. Nana South Africa, nana Botswana, nana Malawi, and chi. So it's more or less for me to empower people, and at the same time, it's for people to know kuti Zeb Tsikira ndiani and Zeb Tsikira anoita nezvei. Because when people know kuti Zeb Tsikira ndiani anoita nezvei, from my artist, for example, they are inquisitive to listen kuti munhu anoita nezvei. And when I come now and tell them kuti, guys, liability in the E, asset in the E, guys, tenga ima stand, guys, tenga imba, they will more or less listen to what I have to say.
At the end of it, I want some people come to me say, you know, you can see their Forbes still fresh off the boat. Oh, we're not driver, what are you doing? Why don't you ask me how many houses do you own? Because I just made the exposure that I've gotten here, you know what's a liability and what's an investment now, right? Because I think it's a same thing kufunga kuti motor is a wheel. And it's sad, you know.
And Amanda, it's not their fault because that's what they are bombarded. That's what they are bombarded with on social media. Anybody who's successful right now, anybody who's successful, you know, bloggers everywhere, everywhere. What they are doing is they are popping champagne, they are buying my champagne 20,000, whatever. They are vakadzi and all that stuff. Those are the guys who are being promoted as mingas, right? They're successful. So as a ghetto youth, you are in the ghetto, you have enough money to buy data. What do you want to be? What do you want to be when you grow up? That's exactly what you want to be. You want to be a womanizer. You want to be mfana rutenga champagne 20,000 apa not den. Not gonna asset. So this is what I don't know what we need to do in order to change, to put that spin on. But for me, you know, I'm just taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, to educate, you know, my ghetto youths and stuff like that. But hey, guys, you know, it's not about that champagne. Pop that champagne. As I said, right? As I said, Guti, the reason why I'm doing this is to help my ghetto youths, and at the same time, my ghetto youths, if they are going to be saying it's a Zeb Tsikira production, a lot of people are going to be inquisitive with Indiani Munye and it. And by the time they actually get to understand or to meet who are Kutindirichini, they will be receptive to listen to what I have to say. When I'm now talking to them about my assets, my liabilities, guys, tenga ima stands, and stuff like that, they are more receptive to doing that, right? But if I was just in nini kungo budapa social media, partners wandiru kuita, for example, people won't really listen to what I'm saying. Look at some of the lives that I do. I go on a live and you see sometimes I have like 50 people, 40 people, maybe 90 or whatever. But look, with giving information for free, and and you look at other lives, Varuta Remagaro and all that stuff, right? Those guys have like 6,000, right? They have like 6,000 people that are watching that, right? So you have to understand how everything works, right? So for you to be able to get into people's ears so that they can listen and change their lives, you need to do the things. Shakaita say music, for example, right? So that people can actually be receptive and say, you know what, actually mdara uyu ane mari but anoita sei kumari yake, and then you tell people kuti aiwa, you guys can do this and do that for you also to be at the same position where I am today.
Right. So before our very second from last question, because definitely I guess we might not have enough time to talk about You Can Save Your Money to Wealth, the book, but we're gonna but you know what? If you want to want somebody to go over pambos, we always want to go pambos. Wenzani? Siya pambosa food.
Ikupambosa, ikuyini kupambosa?
Ukupambosa siyapama, liyabuya futhi, you can still come back. Right? So that's actually going to be my last question. But my second from last question, a very hot one. A very hot question. This is a hot question. If you allow me to, this one, you know, Munanya Sonditi, I'm like, okay, you know, when somebody just says it, I'm like, just go ahead with the question, man. You know, so and the one hard question, if you allow me to, and if you're ready for that one. All right. So this hard question, a lot of people were excited. They see your live videos on Instagram and all that jazz, especially the times that you do with the Bengaldas, Mr. Mike Moyo, Mr. Dixon Maiden. Shout out to those guys in Edmonton. I love them so much. Anzi, a lot of people were excited to learn about your announcement that you once mentioned, you know, when you're doing your giveaways and helping people with their businesses and all that jazz, more like Zimbabwean Shark type of show, right? So the likes of business and the funny example, you already know where we're going, right? So business, starting a business here, stuff like that, and you guys denied that business. Or I don't know, like I think I may have missed that one, because I always enjoy your guys' lives when I go in there. I'm like, okay, what's happening today? Right? So, and the way it ended the question, Hans is journey. So was it people feel like you were kind of still they're thinking because you were stealing ideas, hence the reason why you ended up venturing into music, which like what was the criteria of your picking to support which type of business?
Okay, business is really it's a relationship thing for me personally. I don't know for the other guys. Haungangouyiga ungopicha kuti ndine huku ndoda kutenga huku 10 ndobva dzaita mazai. There's more to it. No, seriously, there's more to it, right? There's more to understand kuti okay, uchadzisa papi huku dzacho. Pane zvirwere zvinoataka zviti. Like there's so much things to those things. So it's not just about a pitch. It's about okay, after that pitch, haungauyi chitira kuda $100 kuti utenge 100 huku. How are you going to do that, right? Come in the end, come with a business plan, come with a strategy. Come doing something. Most people in Inivant no farira vanhu vari kutoita something. Because kana wakagara wakamira kuti nichakupa mari azvitomboiti because nana kugara. Akagara kumirira kuti ndipiwe mari kuti invest in property inini. Ndakatozvishandira kuzoonekwa wanda pamusoro apa varungu vakutoti mfana anoziva zvari kuita nemari. So it's not about that. And stealing ideas, that's an old, like, this is old, guy. Like,
especially right now, we live in an era where social media, the internet is your source of information for you to be even stealing ideas. Like, really.
There's nothing new, Amanda. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything, anything that anybody's doing, it has been done by someone.
That's true. It's only a matter of, guess what? The fun thing is there's only one Zeb Tsikira. There are lots of people investing in property, but there's one Zeb Tsikira. And that one Zeb Tsikira has his own way of doing.
Yes.
You know, it's you know, I think I've learned that, you know, being in my industry, being in the talk show business, you know, a lot of people have this, oh yeah, Amanda's our next Oprah. No, I am the next Amanda, the only Amanda that you'll find. There's a moment I, you know, enjoyed that, you know, connotation. It would, oh yeah, I'm going to be the next Oprah. Until I was like, no, you know, I am myself. I laugh a lot. I giggle a lot. I am loud like that. That's me. Oprah tried to be like Barbara Walters. It didn't work. She had to let that go and figure out who Oprah was. You know, you need to do that research. Like you're saying, how am I supposed to do this? What business can make me? How am I supposed to get into real estate? But we have to get into the groove and figure out how to do it and do our research. I'm also, like you're saying, shout out to you. I've also messed up on a pitch. I will never watch that show. But guess what? Does it make me stop doing a show? I have so many shows that I have. And I took a picture on Clubhouse like crazy. You know, I'm pitching on Clubhouse. You get knows, but in the chat, you keep going. You know what I mean? Because
that's where the biggest, you know, problem is sometimes with people. What you get rejected once again. What did Tyler
Perry, what did Tyler Perry say? You can get so many no's, but it takes one yes. Just one yes. Pane movie I can't chemeza this week. Did you watch Fatherhood? Kevin Hart.
I started it and then I fell asleep. I have to finish it.
I am not gonna spoil it for you. I cried for the most part. It's our journey, Zeb. It's our journey where you feel, why I am not quitting. I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting. When they say no, I'm not quitting. When I'm thinking, why do people quit? Why do people, you know, it's, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But Mr. Zeb, I am so honored. It was such a pleasure hanging out with you and getting to know more about what you're doing. And a whole lot of people were actually tuning in under nice advice as the next Amanda Notando. Okay. Amanda Notando Mangen, I don't usually use my full name. You know, did you see the list?
You know what pane munhu akatombondis akandisendera akati wona list yaitwa baba ndikati ganitarise ndona handiripo chichi. I was like, okay, whatever. I think this person just went and did a list.
Exactly.
But then the person who sent it to me was really touched by that list.
Was what?
Was really touched by the list.
In a bad way or in a good way? In a bad way or in a good way?
In a bad way.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. For those who actually tuned in, I'm not gonna lie. There are actually people, you know, when I was looking at that list, there are people who are influential, but there are also people who have been missed. And I'm not going to blame them, whoever, you know, was, you know, whatever, because a lot of people are like, who's this person? And why do I need you? Why do I need you? Why do I need you? Because this person is influential, you know, because people are now naming it, why, what are they doing? What are they? Oh, congratulations, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean congratulations? And I haven't been on social, you know, I've been off social media. I am busy. Like, I have so many auditions going on. I can't be on social media. You know, not that I can, but I don't have time for social media right now. And I get a call. I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. You know? Jans, what top 40? I'm like, what top 40 are you talking about?
Hey, but you see, Amanda, this is a perfect example of where some people really get annoyed over nonsense. If you are influential and you know that you're influential, you don't need to be in a list. You don't need to be in a list for you to be an influencer, whatever it is. Right. Same time, I can basically wake up tomorrow and do my list. I can do a list too, and then throw it on social media there and put a business title or whatever that is. Right? Anybody can do that. Right? So I mean, you know, I told the person like, yo, chill, man, like continue doing what you're doing. if they don't see you that you're an influencer now. But that
But then again, like you say, I know my position. Right now, we support so many developers and stuff like that. I'm like, I cannot be bothered to worry with the just saying whatever. I know what I do. If people are recognizing it, thank God for that. If people are not, guess what? It's not for them. Period. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people were touched by this, but
it's life, man. As I said. Amanda, as I said, unogona okumuka wamangwana iwo Amanda ka wonyora list yako woikanda woisa business name wokandawo yomutsa inomutsa violence.
That's what you need people like that. Everywhere. And I started to use them. I started to see back. I started taking this up on you. I started taking everywhere. But now it was such a lot. It was such a pleasure, y'all. Like, what, let's end this with a laugh. Because, it tastes like a joke, and the person will just is like, but there was no poster. I'm like, it didn't even your energy. But then again, like you said, Zeb, when you know your work, you know what I mean? I'm not supposed to be afraid to post because guess what? I know me. Yeah. Why should I be afraid to post when I know I have, this and this and I work on that? So it's a given, but then again, this guess what? I know me. I know me. Like,
Auntie, my champions are not changing every year.
But you change it in a week. By that list, I'm a but number 6. Hey, my guy. Hey, me, I'm waiting. But anyway, Mr. Tsikira, we're going to have a moment where we're going to talk about, especially when your other book comes out. But right now, we know you actually, you released, you launched a book entitled You Can't Save Your Way to Wealth, which we're going to talk about the next time we come back, but not talk about the second book, because definitely we're going to have to have you for this, because financial literacy is something that is so important, especially to our African people, and it will be a pleasure and an honor to have you back and talk about that, because for that is sana, and that is the purpose of having After 5 Radio, but it's not just in music, but also in investing back home and in the diaspora. So do you mind letting people know before Madzoka, where can they look at that, like purchase their book, find that book, so they can read it in advance, and then when they come, they can at least what you're talking about, and then try to get into it. And also, I need to have it so I can have also my questions to ask from it.
Exactly. Okay. Yes, guys. The book came out last year on the 19th of November, and it became a bestseller in 7 countries when it came out. The book, it's amazing, especially for people at good diaspora. I'm telling you, like when you actually read that book, it will give you a lot of insights. And it's called You Can't Save Your Way to Wealth. Literally, there is no way you can save your way to wealth. And you can get this book on Amazon. You can get it from different platforms. Just go on Google and more Google You Can't Save Your Way to Wealth by Zeb and Colin Tsikira. We even came out with an audiobook. So for those who don't like to read, you can actually get to listen to the book whenever you're working, you're driving, or whatever that is. But it will change your life. I'm telling you, if you are confused of how things work and stuff like that, it's simple and straightforward. It's written for someone. Yeah, you can get it all over the place.
So there's an input to put them on hard copy too, as well, since there's audio. Yes. Okay.
There's electronic, there's audio, there is hard copies as well, so you can get that. For those who are in Edmonton, if you want me to actually deliver the book, I can deliver the book for you. I'm leaving. Actually, I'm going back to Zimbabwe because I need to go and finalize some stuff there.
So me and Zeb Tsikira will call them. Okay, married away. Don't you know those going hello.
You know what's one
call people out now.
we haven't, the thing is, like, we haven't really gotten a chance to actually launch it. Like, you know, we can, you know, get a place where people can come and buy the book, you know, and book signing and stuff like that because of the whole COVID thing. But when everything's all settled, we're actually going to do that, have a book signing, and people can buy books and, you know, can ask questions and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Zeb, for your time, and this is what we could do to hang out with you for the last time. And we look forward to the next list, and we're going to make it to the next list. But yeah, this week is going to be top list. You know what you do. We all know what we do. So, you know,
exactly.
You know you. But thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely weekend. Please do pass my greetings to Pauline and the kids, you know, and the Minaldos, Dixon and Mike.
No problem. Will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And definitely we're going to be having you back. As soon as you release that book, I'll be looking forward to chatting with you about it.
Usamirire book number 2, guy. It's book number 1.
Oh, I wanted book number 1. Actually, so our next interview will be book number 1, because obviously book number 2 will be loaded as well, and it will take time too. So definitely we're gonna get into book number 1. We're gonna obviously come back, but thank you for that opportunity. So I guess what Mr. Zeb Tsikira got the time for us to hang out with him a little bit more, because you know we need to learn about financial freedom. We need, especially as Zimbabweans, because we have been taught that different things. You know, first of all, even I think, I don't know which one I think it's also Rich Dad Poor Dad, where it is actually Rich Dad Poor Dad, where there's a hierarchy of, you know, the pyramid of who you are, what you work for, and I'm sure you can say your own way into world. So that's another thing that we need to teach each other, because clearly we've been taught the wrong way. But and no working hard, you know, moving forward. And then some people have this whole thing, which, oh no, you know, you just need to work for somebody else, retirement, and that goes on, you know, and that's the end of life.
And the thing, Amanda, what I want to leave is, guys, let's post my keys at Zimbabwe. Let's post my keys at Zimba. Let's post my asset documents. Post my phone 3, post my perfume, post chichi. Let's post Zimba, my asset, my keys. Let's post my certificate of investments and it. That's how we can change lives. We can change lives together.
Absolutely, definitely. So the next time, actually, our next interview, definitely we're going to be having Mr. Tsikira. We're going to try and get a hold of him, since he's saying he's actually going to be going to Zimbabwe, and you know, time difference, network, and all that jazz. We will definitely try and get a hold of him, perhaps or it was Zim, or when he comes back, because you know, I think from next week too, I won't be on radio again because I'm also chasing my dream, right? And radio is part of it, but I have another bigger dream. Like I'm trying to manage my time as well. So definitely we're going to be hanging out with you, and we're going to link up a little bit more, and then we can figure out when we can link up again, so we can have a discussion of you can save your way to wealth, because I think this is actually going to be an important discussion for people to, you know, have, and get data way past our time, because this is money that we're talking about, and we've been taught the wrong thing about money, especially, you know, as Africans and stuff like that. So it'll be a pleasure to have you back, and we look forward to that.
That'd be awesome. Thank you for having me.
No, that is awesome. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Take care, and thank you so much for your time.